Hello, all my beautiful people. It is time once again for another amazing episode of If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is a special Wednesday episode. Really, what it is I had last week where I wasn't having a full episode due to some things that were going on around here. As you're hearing this, my air conditioner still has not been fixed. So, just keep us in your thoughts and prayers because we're doing okay because we got a few window units, but I would love to get my house back to normal. Hopefully we'll get that fixed here pretty soon. So this week I have with me the heavyweight champion of Wrestle Against Hunger on this episode, and that is Shotgun Dan Weber. I've been talking about having him on for the last few weeks, and he is finally on here. I had a few setbacks, but we are back on track. This episode will get me right back on track to where I'm supposed to be at. I had an episode that aired on Monday, and if you haven't heard that yet, make sure you go listen to that one too, and that's with Ryan Pilkington. That was a great episode, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. For all the people who are here just to hear the Shotgun Dan Weber episode, I hope you like what you hear, and I hope that you stick around and maybe find some other episodes that you like as well. So I am very excited about this one, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So if you're as excited as I am, then let's get this show on the road.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Hey, Dad.
Get back in your car! Go! Get out of here! You can't be here!
I wasn't about to call you Dad, so.
Seriously?
Just for the work rate, brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she said he looked like an old piece of leather.
Wow.
Supernatural, which is by far one of my favorite shows, and I will be talking a lot about Supernatural. I will be quoting Supernatural.
Bro.
I just remember because they also, everybody, whenever they came to the ring, goes, ooh, 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 ooh.
What? Okay, before I get started, have you ever had an idea for a design that you wanted to put on a shirt, hat, tumbler, or even a puzzle? Well, over at R&L Designs, they can make those ideas come true. For the month of August, all ready to ship or local pickup t-shirts and can glasses with bamboo lids are $10 each plus shipping. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Etsy for digital designs. I'll have a link to all of their pages in my show notes. Go check them out for all of your custom needs today. Alright everybody, so today I have with me a wrestler that I have actually seen wrestle twice now in Crown Championship Wrestling, and this guy is really awesome at what he does, and I've always enjoyed watching him, and that is Shotgun Dan Weber. Man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Just, trying to cool down and everything. It's the end of the day. Got everybody settled down in the house, and so it's now my time to do my podcast. So, I know that you, like I said, I've seen you wrestle in Crown Championship twice. I saw you at Bentonville and Siloam Springs. I think that's the two most recent shows that they've had. What other companies have you worked with?
Right now, all basically, Oklahoma based, and a couple of probably two in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
I work for, Wrestler Gets Hunger, pretty much my main fed. I'm, the heavyweight champ over there.
Okay.
WFC.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Rockwell's the promoter, and, he kind of got that started over there. Core Professional Wrestling, Sam Springs. What else? Oh, UWE, I can't forget about those guys.
Yeah.
I love a few. I love those guys. All those guys been, very good to me, and I love working up there in Tahlequah. I'm actually getting ready, thinking about moving to Tahlequah.
Oh, really?
Right next. Oh yeah, I mean that little city. I love that little city out there. It's so quiet, other than Tulsa, it's so rowdy.
Yeah.
The Kansas fed American Wrestling Revolution and World Class, and all in Kansas.
Wow. So you stay pretty busy then.
Yeah. I've worked Metroplex in Texas one time for
Okay.
VIP. I'm trying to take more Texas bookings as well.
Hmm.
And then yeah, like you said, Crown as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you actually been wrestling? Like, how did you get your start into this? I guess.
Um, well, man, I've always, been a fan of wrestling. I was a big fan of the Ruthless Aggression era.
Hmm.
I didn't grow up to see the Attitude era. Unfortunately, I just turned 27 Friday, so
Oh
I'm
well,
only
happy
so I'm,
birthday.
well. Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I'm 90s baby, so I kind of grew up, watching wrestling. My first introduction to wrestling, I remember living in Tulsa, 7311 East Independence Street on Admiral. Um, uh, I remember living out there in a little box TV. My first introduction to wrestling was honestly Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho.
That is a
Uh,
great way to get into wrestling, right there.
yeah, like he was like my first, visual of the long hair with the ponytail. He had his back to the camera. His pose. That was my first introduction to wrestling, and then I got into it more. I started watching the Eddie Guerrero's, Chris Benoit. I mean, he's my all time favorite.
Hmm.
Uh, Kurt Angle,
Yeah.
two of my favorites. Samoa Joe. Um, that's how that was kind of my start era, and then I went into going to middle school, high school, and watching the PG era with John Cena's
Yep.
and then also TNA, the TNA era, and then the John Cena's and WWE, and the CM Punks and whatever.
Hmm.
And then I was actually at the time I was doing some amateur stuff. I was trying to be like Kurt Angle, trying to be an All American, win a gold medal, hopefully go to the Olympics someday. Um, kind of that kind of fell through college because I was pretty dumb in college. I was a real idiot in college. I mean, I've kind of my grades are kind of up and down. Um,
Okay.
I kind of moved all over the place,
Yeah.
trying to college to college. So so after my last college I went to was in Artists and Brothers in West Virginia, and I realized out of state tuition was a mug, so I ended up coming right back out here.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, not now that I think about it, I had one more shot in college. It was right before the pandemic. It was in Shawnee, and I was doing pretty great that first semester in the spring, and then lockdown ended up happening.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, but between all that, I was watching a lot of like the current brand, a lot of
Hmm.
AEW, and a lot of the Raw, SmackDown, and stuff like that, and watch a lot of the New Japan stuff as well.
Hmm.
And I'm starting to become more of a student at the time. So even before I even started stepping into the ring, I was becoming already kind of getting it that it was a work. Started understanding the what it was. I'm super like green, super not don't understand what's going on, but I understand that what I understand that what it was that you know that the professionalness of what wrestling is, but not knowing the inside of it because I'm like I said, I've never trained before, so I'm still watching it and seeing it for what it is.
Right.
So how I got into it, this is right after probably around this time, around 2020, when they started opening up. Uh, I kind of knew a guy, a good friend of mine. He was my manager for Anytime Fitness, not Anytime Fitness, uh, Tin Gym, Tin Gym at out here in Owasso.
Okay.
He, his name is JJ. He's actually in the wrestling business himself. He's actually a ref right now. He was my manager at the time,
Oh.
and yeah, he was long like small world. He was my manager at the time for up there at Tin Gym when I was a
Hmm.
trainer. And I remember going to him and like just randomly. I'm fresh out of my last college. I'm done with college. I'm back working, making money. I asked him because I knew he was a big wrestling fan. And me and him used to, talk wrestling a lot. And I asked him like, "Hey, man, um, like, how do I get into wrestling?" And he was like, "Hmm, well, I kind of know a guy." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, I try to sell this guy a session in South Tulsa at 10 Gym." So I was like, "All right." So this guy so happened to be Giganto, um, another local Oklahoma wrestler. He
Mhm.
was literally the first wrestler, indie wrestler, local wrestler I've ever like reached out to, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I ended up messaging him, and he didn't get back to me. Probably like the next day,
Uh,
and he told me the two people I had to hit up was Tim Rockwell
mhm.
and Brandon Groom for WFC and BPW at the time, right?
Mhm.
I messaged Tim first, messaged Brandon. Brandon, he's not on social media a lot. Tim got right back to me immediately. He told me, "You come out to Wagner. We have our show that following a month. This is like in July, right? Like he said in July, come out." And I'm like pumped, man. Like I'm like training in the gym, trying to look ripped and whatever.
Yeah.
Like so when I get there, he'll see me and be like, "Yeah, I can actually use this guy."
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, it fell through because at the time I didn't have a car.
Oh
Didn't
no.
know how. Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to get to Wagner. I didn't have a license at the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I texted him. I was like, "Hey, man, like, I'm probably not going to make it." He was like, "All right, man. There's always next time." So I'm like, "Man." So I took took the beyond me to figure how I'm going to do this, and I was really serious about becoming a wrestler.
Right.
So probably like fast forward, right? This is like the day after my birthday, around this time.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I end up Googling where to become a professional wrestler out of nowhere. I guess Google, has been the Google gods has been, answering my prayers or something. Um, Apparently, I end up finding where Brandon Groom's training was at in Google by Body Progression Wrestling
Uh-huh.
at Perfect Practice back when they were running in Tulsa, and they had the days and the time and whatever. So I showed it to my manager and JJ, who's like I said, is a rep now. I
Mhm.
showed him what I found, and he was like, "Huh, well, we'll go check it out after work." I showed up Tuesday, right? I walked in. We were like, it's perfect practice over that time. It had a bunch of like baseball stuff, some soccer stuff in there. When you walk in, there's like MMA class, and then like the other two doors is like where they have the wrestling room. So we actually walked in there. That's where they started training. The three people that I'm good friends with today.
Mhm.
That were in their training. Brandon Groom wasn't in there yet. It was Derek James, Tommy Dean, and Wesley Crane, who were the trainers, and a couple other trainees, right?
Uh-huh. Wow.
And I remember walking in, and they're like looking at me. Kayfabe. That's the thing. That's the saying when somebody, that outsider, walks into a wrestling room, and kayfabe.
Yep.
I picked that up. I didn't know what they were doing, so they were looking mean and shit. So I remember walking in, and they're like looking at me, and they're like, I remember Tommy Dean. This is my first thing he asked. He asked me, "You want to get in?" and I was like, "Yeah." And then JJ was like, "Yeah, we're just looking for training right now." And Wesley Crane was like, he gave me Brandon Groom's number, and I ended up calling him right then and there, and he ended up picking up, and he was like, he gave me the prices, he gave me the times, he told me show up next week and be ready, have your crap together and be ready.
Wow.
So that's how I got in.
That's awesome. Just and the fact that you had somebody who was right there to kind of bring you in, it almost makes it feel like it was meant to be. Whenever
Yeah,
things like that fall into place, that's really cool.
yeah, it was just just I felt, because I'm a very religious man. Um, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like, everything through step of my life kind of
Yep.
got me here. Because I've been a fan ever since I was shorty. You know, I, it feels like that everything in my life was placed in place to get to get where I'm at now.
Right.
And I'm kind of living a dream that I've never thought ever in my life. I thought that I was going to be in the Olympics somewhere, or I thought I was going to be a trainer my whole life. But to be a pro wrestler, man, I would never thought that I would be here. I mean, now that I think about it, I wish I had started this earlier. I would have been say screw college, man. Like, if I'd have knew, because I remember some of the guys were telling me, like, man, we've been doing this since for a long time, and I was like, man, because one of the college I went to was at Bacone College. Like I said, I went to like 3, 4, 5 colleges. I transferred a lot.
Okay.
One of the colleges I went to was Bacone and Muskogee, and UWE's in Tahlequah. And if I wouldn't heard about that, I wouldn't even find a way to still train in wrestling. Because I wasn't like a walk-on in college. I was a redshirt walk-on. I was I didn't have a wrestling scholarship. I had a Christian ministry scholarship.
Okay.
I was just in the wrestling room, trying to work for my scholarship. And I mean, eventually I ended up being in the starting roster, but that was literally right before everything happened over there at Bacone. Back in 2018. Yeah, I was in the middle of all that, so I was still going there at the time when they ended up taking away all the sport programs, getting ready to shut down Bacone, and I had to transferring all the way to Missouri, to a wrestling scholarship out there. Everything, I realized that I don't regret anything that happened in my life, because I'm doing what I love to do.
Yeah. Well, and I do have to say, just from what I've seen, when I've seen you wrestle and everything, you wouldn't know that that you have been in such a short amount of time. You would think that you were just as you had been going just as long as some of the other guys, like Justin Lee has and stuff. You hang with them just fine.
Yeah. And I kind of, just like I have great training. Like Brandon Groom was one of my trainers. I ended up no hate against Brandon Groom. I love him. He's a good friend of mine. I ended up seeking other trainings from other places. So I ended up falling under Wrestling Against Hunger, Brent Crawford, who is the promoter and a pastor in Living Hope Center and Living Hope Church, who's getting ready to start his company.
Okay.
And I was one of his first trainees under the Hunger Dojo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of the first ones over there. One of the first one was me, Romeo Reese, Connor Smith, and a couple of other guys that, who's currently not wrestling or, kind of doing other things right now. But those are three of us are kind of the pillars. And Corporal Punishment. I can't forget about him. He's actually over there. But that guy, I'll tell you about that guy later.
Okay.
But yeah, we were kind of the four pillars over there. One of the first ever trainees over there at the Hunger Dojo. It wasn't even called the Hunger Dojo at the time. It was just, we're training here in Living Fellowship. It was just called Wrestling Against Hunger. Still was the company name.
Right.
We've had a couple of other trainers like Spike Lopez and Ocean. But Justin Lee took over as the head trainer back in, I believe it was the start of the start of 2021 last year.
When I had him on here, he actually did talk about that a little bit, taking over, doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was clearly the one who took over there, and ever since then, we've had great young talent. Even to this day, we got young guys that I've actually wrestled recently. Doug Piro, I can't even pronounce. I just call him DP. Doug Piro and Eddie Levon, I wrestled recently in WFC. And,
okay.
sure I wrestled like the last WA show I wrestled last month. He was in the main event, man, and that's why I will say this, man. Justin Lee is probably the best trainer in Oklahoma, hands down. And I'm saying this right now on camera. Well, not on camera, but on.
We got you on record saying it.
Yeah. So he is. I'm saying that right now. He's the best trainer, not because he out the things that he's done for me outside of wrestling, but to train like wrestling. When it comes to wrestling, he is undeniable because he can turn a nobody into a pretty good performer or a great performer.
Right.
Because I've had like I said, like Dove, like me and him, he's only been in the business for probably 10 times. He only had 10 matches.
Wow.
He's only wrestled probably I think he started back in Cinco. That was his first match, I believe. Cinco de Mayo, and ever since then the kid got a lot of potential. He's going to be something. Like I always say, like how I started. Like people looked at me. They said like the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, that kid's going to be dynamite.
Yeah.
Him, he's the same boat. Like the next year or two, he's going to be a champion someday. So yeah, but Justin Lee has turned that kid into he's turned him into a pretty good performer already in his first year.
Yeah. Well, I know from seeing, and I've said this before, and I probably sound like a fanboy when I talk about Justin Lee on the show because I actually had a lot of fun talking to him. But and I've seen some of the videos like that he's put on like Instagram and stuff, explaining moves and how to do them properly, and he makes it look easy, and he makes it look like he explains it for somebody like me to understand even, and that's something that I think is important when it comes to properly learning moves and stuff, is being able to explain it to where somebody as dumb as I can understand it.
Yeah. He always says what sticks with me, and he said this back when I was first training under him. He says, like, if the fans doesn't digest what you're doing, then it's terrible. Like you said, you like, especially Oklahoma fans, like Oklahomans aren't smart. Let's get that out of the way. Like not very smart fans. They can't digest what you're doing in a match. You have to tell a story. You have to whatever story you're telling in a match has to digest to whatever the fans is. It can't be, long story short, it can't be a spot fest. Let's get this. Like I don't have a problem with spots as long as they're making sense, and that goes along with telling stories. Like AEW. Like AEW has a whole bunch of that. Big fan of AEW, big fan. But when it comes to like some things, it doesn't make sense on there, and I get it. But what I've kind of learned and what I've kind of understand on my own, because he always says, like, what I'm telling you, don't just take my word for it. Go out and find out for yourself. Find out what works for you. And what I've kind of realized that I'm an athlete. I'm a competitor. I like to. When I look at pro wrestling, outside of the entertainment aspect of it, I take it as a competition. Who's literally the best of the best, right? So I would like to take that psychology and mix, a little bit of spots. So the story you're telling, babyface, heel versus babyface versus babyface. I'm not a big fan of heel versus heel. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But you want to tell the story of, like, at the end of the day, there has to be a winner.
Right.
There has to be a winner. Yes, how you get there is how you get there, cheating, whatever, how it is. But, at the end of the day, like, we're here to be the best. So, yeah, like, we're here to, like, be the best, and And yeah, that's about it. Like, I mean, I don't know how to put that into any type of fancy words for it. Like, I
No,
mean, wrestling. I love pro wrestling, man. Like, it's like all the aspects of it, but I am an athlete, and I
yes,
kind of see that as um, I that's why I kind of bring that aspect into pro wrestling. You can kind of like you can see that in my matches, like determination in my face, like Kurt Angle back in TNA days, Kirk Angle. That's what they
yep,
called him.
yep,
Kirk Angle. That's I took that aspect that I was like he was and then Benoit, his intensity. I took that
mhm,
aspect of the intensity. Like I'm in there to rip your head off.
yeah,
That's just my character, right?
right,
So that's just me just being an athlete. That's how that my amateur mentality is basically my character turned up a notch.
hmm.
So
Well, and they say
that's
that's the best character is taking your personality and turning it up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of the idea of what I wanted to be. That's the idea of Shotgun Dan Weber. That's why I
Hmm.
call my like. That's why I'm got like 50,000 names. You know, the North Side Gunslinger, the Headhunter,
Uh huh.
the Boogeyman of the Square Circle. I got like that's kind of who he is.
Yeah.
Uh, his whole thing is like once you're out there in that ring, once you see me, you crap yourself. Like that's the that's the kind of mentality the mentality that I bring in. It's not necessarily a character. It's it's how you present it in the ring. Like
Right.
like you see me on a card and you be like, huh, like like that's the kind of character I bring to the table. That's why I mean that's kind of I guess that's why I get booked. Well, it always helps to be a great guy. You know,
Yes.
you don't want to be a douchebag. You know,
Right. It does help. So,
you don't want to be great. You got to be a great guy in this business. So,
yeah. So, do you prefer to be a heel or a baby face?
um, honestly, man, I can be whatever. I mean, if I had to choose, like right now, I'm a baby face.
Uh huh.
I kind of like it,
Yeah.
you know, um, because it's like I'm a baby face and I do heel stuff
Right.
and I get cheered for
Yeah.
it. um, being a heel is fun. Like it is very fun.
Hmm.
It's easier.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very easier to me, of course. Um,
You hear that a lot, that it because you don't have to be taken as seriously all the time.
yeah, like being a heel is easy. Like now that I kind of think about it, you know, because of you can it's easy to have people hate you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. It's definitely much easier to have somebody hate you than to like you.
yeah, it's easier to have somebody hate you. You know, it's because you come out like make your debut as a babyface, and
Hmm.
depending what fan base you have, the fans may not digest you being a babyface. Now that I'm kind of in the business, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a veteran or anything, but I'm kind of understanding like how to how to approach both, especially with my character.
Yeah.
Like personally, me, like, and this was Justin Lee said. Like, he says it's easier for me, especially my character, because you can do like hit somebody in the mouth as retaliation.
Hmm.
Like if a heel does something dirty, you can do it back as retaliation. Fans will cheer for it, right?
Right.
I guess you can say. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the word tweener, like Stone Cold was a tweener at the time. You know, tweeners.
Yeah.
Uh, I would like to say I'm a aggressive babyface right now.
There you
Yeah,
go.
aggressive babyface. But I mean, I like being a baby. I mean, it's a little bit fun, you know, people cheering your name. But
Oh yeah.
I guess I'll choose being a baby. But like, it's easier. I mean, it's a little easier being a heel. And plus,
Yeah.
I like the challenge. I like the challenge well as being a baby because you challenge yourself in the ring. Depends who you're working with, and depends what you're going to do next as far as how you go about matches and whatever.
Yeah.
So,
So I actually have a funny story that relates to you. So when you were at the Siloam Spring show, I was kind of at the same time as enjoying myself there. I was kind of doing my little thing, going around talking to everybody. That's when I talked to Tim Rockwell and Jason Jones, and I talked to Joe Helms and a few of the other ones and everything. Kind of going around being like, "Hey, got a podcast. I'd love you to have you come on." And I hadn't seen you at all really that night yet, so I went to the bathroom, and as I'm about to walk out, you come storming through the door of the bathroom. And I was really excited at first, and I go, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And then I automatically stopped, and I was like, now is not the time when he's trying to go to the bathroom. I'll just wait till later.
Oh, man. Yeah, I probably had to drain a monster. Like, that's
Yeah.
like, I had to drain because it wasn't no bathroom in the locker room because it was just the stage. So
Yeah.
was that like before or after my match?
It was during the intermission. So
After.
it was after your match, I believe.
Yeah, I had to piss.
So I was like, at first I was like, oh, and I got really excited because, I wanted to talk to you and stuff. And then I was like, now is not the time to do that. So I just left.
Yeah, I really, really had to piss.
Yeah.
My fault, man. You could have catch me on my way out. I felt a lot better.
Oh, you're good. I didn't want to be the weirdo standing by the bathroom waiting for you to come out. So,
You're good, man. You're good, man. It's all good. That's funny.
So I like to ask this question of people whenever I bring them on here.
Right.
If you had a dream match that you wanted to be in, whether it's somebody who is still wrestling, or retired, even dead, do you have a dream match? And on multiple scales, whether it be local or whether it be, AEW or anything, do you have dream matches that you would like to do? And what are they?
I'll do you one better.
Okay.
I'll give you a top 5 favorite of locally and a top 5 favorite all time.
Awesome.
Or maybe a top 10 locally. Because I was literally thinking about this morning.
Okay.
So locally, top 5, and this is not in order.
Okay.
Not in order. Justin Lee, obviously. Kirk Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley Crane, Tommy Dean, Brawler Morrison, Tim Rockwell. How many was that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not the smartest man. I'll be honest with you, brother.
I didn't even count them up either.
It's all. I'm just gonna keep going. Do Cornell.
Yeah.
Coco. Me and Coco always bad. So Coco, obviously. I wrestled Coco all last year. That's my guy. One of my best. He knows it too. Me and him always give each other. I'm missing somebody. Double D.
Okay.
My man had a good match. I'm missing somebody, man. Dimitri Alexander. I have more, but I'm probably missing somebody. I'll get back to it, but I'm gonna give you a top 5 of all time.
Okay.
Benoit, Angle, Samoan Joe, Regal. That's 4.
That's 4.
Dean Malenko.
There you go. I noticed you've got a lot of those technical wrestlers in there, and I love that. Those guys are some of the best.
I'm a technician guy, man. Like, here's the thing. Like, I didn't become a technician guy until, like, I got a little older because I understood technical wrestling once I got a little older. And me being, coming from off the amateurs, it's something, it's like a chess game out there. So that's how I kind of took the aspect of thinking, so they take it like match for match. It's like a chess game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, it's kind of same mindset. You bring that to the amateurs, you bring that to the professionals. So that's why that's why Benoit intensity was what got me. Like, we all know, what happened or what could happen allegedly. Everybody has their own story about Benoit,
Right.
what could happen, but
Right.
the wrestler, Chris Benoit, the wrestler, was undeniable. Like his intensity, you know, watching him, seeing his facial expression, seeing his passion. That's why he was always my number one guy, and he was my hero at the time.
Right.
Yeah, him and Kurt Angle, and I was a huge TNA fan. Kurt Angle was
He was a
hard,
machine in there.
hard boy. Probably wasn't healthy, but boy, he was. Oof.
Yeah.
At that, Kurt Angle was awesome.
Yeah, he was a machine. I know that they recently just do like a big interview thing on the. It's like a documentary, I think, that they do on
I think like
A&E or something like that.
A&E, something like that. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that.
And I think, yeah, and Kurt Angle's one of the first ones that they've done on there. And yeah, him talking about the things that he went through, and it is insane. But you did mention two names there, and one of my favorite matches is Benoit versus Kurt Angle, and I believe it's at the Royal Rumble where they faced off against each other. And that it was almost, I think it was they considered a 5-star match, because it was just amazing. The amount of psychology they were able to put behind that.
Same. Angle and Shawn Michaels was another one of my favorites.
Yes. I think that was that WrestleMania 21 or was it 20?
I believe so. I believe
Yeah.
21.
21, yeah, because that's the one that was in Hollywood, I believe. WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, yeah. That's one of the first WrestleManias that I ever got to watch in its entirety, was that one.
Really?
Yeah, and it was because I found the DVD for it at, we have a thing up here called Vintage Stock. It's kind of like Game Exchange and one of those places and everything. I think they have some of them in Oklahoma as well. But I found it's like a 3-disc set of wrestling, of WrestleMania 21. And so I sat down and in my floor in my bedroom, and I watched the entire thing as soon as I got it home. And after that, because I had gotten away from it for quite a few years, because I was a teenager and all that, and then I got a job when I got out of high school, and I found it as a love again.
Yeah, I went through that phase too.
Yeah.
When I was, I don't know what year. I think it was when I was with my ex at the time. I felt out of touch with wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like one person. Actually, it was actually a college friend of mine who was also a wrestling friend. Shout out to Pablo, that was his name. Sean, that was a good friend of mine. He actually went to Bacone with me.
Okay.
He was a freshman when I was probably like a 2-year sophomore or something like that, because I was feeling so much. He actually ended up, helping me get a rugby scholarship out there, and I was, playing rugby and wrestling out there in West Virginia, and he, after that whole crap that happened at Bacone, he helped me,
Yeah.
he got this area, and he was like, "Hey man, since you're over there, come over here in West Virginia,
Uh-huh.
come play some rugby." And I was like, "All right, say less." So I literally bounced from Missouri Baptist University, went straight up to West Virginia.
Okay.
So, and then me and him was he was my roommate, and me and him watched wrestling all the time. And it was around the time where one of the WrestleMania, the main event was Ronda Rousey, and what was the other two?
Charlotte and Becky.
Charlotte, Becky, yeah.
That was a good match. That's the first time that the women main evented WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Was that
Or was that the following year? I'm not sure. It's one of those years.
It was 2019. It was 2019. That
Okay.
WrestleMania. It was the same night that I think Brock wrestled Roman, and then I think was that the night that No, that's not the same match. It was Seth Rollins wrestled somebody for the opener.
Okay. Well, Rollins wrestled Brock at WrestleMania too, didn't he?
I think so.
And he had to give him like 3 or 4 curb stomps just to keep him down.
Yeah, it was the that was the same. That's the same night he cashed in the Money in the Bank. I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was Roman versus Brock, and then he cashed in that one. Yeah,
I don't know if that was the year of that his wife main evented, but
right.
I'm saying I think he was the opener though. He was the opener for that WrestleMania, but it was one of them. It was that was probably back in like 2017, 2016 or something like that. Maybe 2015.
Yes, that was the match where he was against Orton, and he did that where Orton did the pop up where he was trying to do the curb stomp, and he turned it into an RKO.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Yep.
Sorry, I get in that mindset, and then I have to figure out exactly which one we're talking about.
No, it's my wrestling. Library is a little blurry.
Well, especially with now wrestling yourself, you probably don't get as much time to watch as what you would like.
Yeah, but it's funny, man. I walked in, and this was one of the. I did the Flago Del Sol seminar at OKX, and then he did another one in Core. I didn't do it because he was doing the same. He already did his back in OKX.
Right.
But I walked in the seminar, like right in, just to go set up my merch table. And it was packed. It was packed in there, and I was just in there, and he was talking about how you like you have to stay updated on the brand, the competition.
Yeah,
you have to, just to keep your mind refreshed on new stuff in your character and everything. And I didn't really look at it at that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking like, I don't know, Flago. I don't know this product, but then I was kind of thought about it. Like, I can buy that. Yeah, I mean, he's right. You have to stay updated on the product.
Right.
No matter if it's AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, you have to. Yeah, because that's what Flago and I love Flago Del Sol, and my first time I didn't watch him in OKXs. I was in the back. I was getting ready for a battle royal, but I watched him.
Mm-hmm.
I peeked at him at Core, and I was like, man, I'm a big fan of people's wrestling, but I'm a big fan of people's their character, their mentality, like their swagger, like it's just that small little detail people don't understand, like your character, your swag, how people. Because I was told, like, this is what I didn't even think about. Like, one of our trainees was telling me, one of our newer trainees, was like, man, like, I like your character, like it has a little swagger to it. And I was like, huh? I was like, I never thought of myself being a swaggy guy. Like, he was like, it's like it's just like that little, like your look, your facial expression, like how you walk around, how you walk to the ring, how you walk around the ring.
Yeah,
it's got a little bit of Southern swagger to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I thought about it, and then I watched Flago, and then I was like, I get it. Like, this is like how how Ric Flair. You just shrugged to, like how you walk to the ring and how it was just that little, like how he looked,
right?
Like he has a little walk, like Mr. Nasty. Like that's another person I didn't. That's another guy in my top 10. I might be like a 12. His whole Creole Soul Pimp gimmick, like how he walked to the ring and how he carried himself, like that. That was, that played a little inspiration of who Shotgun Dan Weber is.
Yeah.
Like how he approaches the ring, like, how he walks to the ring, how he, how the fans look at you, like that's really big into your character,
Right. The one thing that I was going to say that I noticed that as well. You do have that swagger when you come to the ring, and it does stand out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because it's like like to certain people, it's like certain people who doesn't really see it.
Mm-hmm.
It may not seem like much, but it's a whole lot, man. Like it's a whole lot because
it exudes
like,
confidence, and that's what you want whenever you're watching somebody wrestle. If somebody comes out and they seem confident, you're like, okay, this guy's going to do something. You know, you want to keep your eye on him.
Yeah, like I mean, that's how like for instance, like the old school baby face, even today, the baby face heel, the heel come out first.
Mm-hmm.
The way the heel come out is going to be way different than the way the baby face come out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the heel's job is to, piss off the fans. The heel's job is to piss off the fans. Piss them off, have them to do them too. They don't care who a piece of doo comes out.
Well, and that way they also, they start rooting for that baby face too, because they want to see that guy get his butt kicked.
They want to see that guy they want to see that guy get punched in the mouth.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care who comes out that curtain right after that baby face. They're going to cheer for that, that baby face, just in spite of the heel. You know what I'm saying? So it could be some Blow Joe from Wichita or whatever, don't even know who he is. He's a baby face. If you're a great heel, you can have, if you're a great heel, don't matter who comes out that curtain. Doesn't matter. It could be those are great, those are great heels, You're doing your job as a heel.
Yeah. All right, so we're about to come here to a close on this, and before I get you off here, do you have anything that you have coming up that you maybe want to announce or talk about?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. This Friday and Saturday. This Friday is the core. I have 3 things coming up this weekend, next weekend.
Okay.
This Friday, core professional wrestling in Hill Springs Church. I believe it's 7 o'clock. The show starts. It's going to be a great event. Saturday is the big WFC show. Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Extravaganza. EC3.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got to say much. EC3, James Storms, Josh Woods. Yeah, it's going down.
Yes, it is.
It's going down. Yes, sir. And next weekend, WAH, the 13th, we're putting on a show for the fire department. A big event. I'm pretty sure I'm main eventing, just like every show.
Okay.
Come out and support hungry families and come out and support the fire department on the 13th, August 13th.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
So if people want to follow you, how can they do that?
Just look me up, Dan Weber, on Facebook. That's where I'm mostly on.
Okay.
I don't really do TikTok. I mean, I'm on Instagram too. That's kind of my private stuff on Facebook. But
I got you.
You want to come out, follow me, follow Dan Weber on Facebook. So.
All right, man. Well, it has been awesome having you on here, and I would love to have you come back here in the future, maybe when you get down the road a little further and we can kind of look back.
Absolutely. Hopefully I'll be some places.
All right. I believe that you will be, man.
Sure.
All right. Well, you have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right.
In a time of inflation, COVID, monkeypox, and Amber Heard, you need to take a break from it all. Welcome to Love and Murder Podcast. With Love and Murder, you get 1 hour a week to kick back and listen to stories of relationships gone horribly wrong. Stories with true crime, mystery, suspense, and just a little bit of humor that's never at the expense of the victim. Come on, join host Kai and Shar over at www.murderandlove.com. That's Love and Murder backwards, murderandlove.com.
you ever wondered what the top 10 most streamed 90s songs are? Or what about the top 10 highest paid dead celebrities? Maybe the top 10 most common phobias? Hi there, I'm Nick, host of the Tennis Podcast. Every episode, me and my various sidekick hosts share trivia, fun facts, and hot takes as we try to guess each other's top 10ish list. Here's a little preview.
When he dresses up as a girl bunny, he drives Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam crazy with lust.
Mr. Monopoly's actual legal name, Rich Uncle Pennybags.
And it turns out people will just shock a guy to death if someone in a lab coat asks semi-nicely.
Chickens outnumber humans more than 2-1.
It is the only R-rated film to gross $1 billion.
With over 175 episodes and counting, there's sure to be a top 10 list that tickles your weird little fancy just right. Listen to Tennis Podcast now on any podcast app. That's 10ISH Podcast.
All right, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that episode with Shotgun Dan Weber. He was a lot of fun to talk to, and he was a pretty awesome guy. Sorry for there at the end. My neighbor decided to start mowing the lawn at 8:30 at night, and so it picked that up at the very end. So I do apologize for that, but I hope that you enjoyed that episode. I had a lot of fun talking to him. So next week I have with me Benny Quailman, who is the lead singer for a metalcore band called With Some Friends. And I've kind of been talking to this guy back and forth for the last couple days, and he's a pretty awesome guy. It seems like we have a lot in common, so I can't wait to get him on here for you guys to hear what he has to say. And I've got a few other people set up. The week after that, I will be having the promoter of Mid-States Wrestling, and that is the hardest working man in the business. The Space Cowboy, Jason Jones, is going to be on my show. I'm pretty excited about that one. And then the week after that, I will be having the Silverback, Joe Helms, Big Joe Helms out of Springfield, to talk about some wrestling on the show as well. So I'm very excited to be bringing these people to you. I hope that you're enjoying all of the different content that I am bringing you. If you have any questions or comments or anything that you would like to tell me, or you just want to say hi, you can send me an email, and that's at giveadatapodcast@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook, and that is at IYGADAP, the acronym for If You Give a Data Podcast. Or you can just look up If You Give a Data Podcast. I'm kind of everywhere. You can Google it and find me in all of these places as well. You can also find me on Instagram, and that is at Give a Data Podcast. And then also you can follow me on Twitter, which is actually where I found Benny Quailman from With Some Friends, is on Twitter. I'm always looking for new people to talk to on the show. And we kind of got to talking on there. And so if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so by following at dadpodcast11. If you guys have any comments, concerns, loves, likes, hates, dislikes, whatever, I would love to hear from you. Just let me know what you think. If you have any questions for the guests that I have coming up, be sure to send those to me. Had something really cool happen in the last week of this podcast. We reached 1,000 downloads. And as I'm telling you this, we are less than 300 downloads away from doubling that to 2,000. So what I accomplished in 4 months, I've almost accomplished again in 1 month. And I couldn't do this without you guys. You guys are awesome. The amount of feedback that I'm getting from you guys is great, and the amount of people that are starting to listen to this, it has kind of, if I'm being honest, kind of blew me away. And I'm glad that you guys like it and that you are excited about more episodes coming your way. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and end this episode, and I can't wait to present more awesome content to you guys. So, I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye. If you enjoyed our show, come back next week. Come on, guys. You know you want to come back. Might get some laughs. It's the end of the episode, brother.